We are halfway through Season 6 of the Glory Hunter Asia Challenge, where we have finally won the Champions League Elite with Daejeon. And after having completed everything we could in South Korea, it was now time to resign from the position. There were several interesting job positions open, including Hiroshima in Japan and Sydney FC in the A-League. The first side to offer a job interview was Hiroshima. At the time of the interview, they were sitting 16th in the J-League, just 2 points above the relegation zone. And after a successful interview, Hiroshima were the team to offer us a job position. With the club struggling both in the league and financially, it would be a tough position, but I decided to accept the job offer, which means in the second half of Season 6, we would be moving to Japan with Hiroshima. All right, we have made the move to Japan, where we are going for the J-League, and Japan actually has 2 cup competitions, but for Glory Hunter, we are going after the most reputable cup competition, which is the All Japan Cup. And just so you all can see here, as you guys can see, All Japan Cup is the more reputable domestic cup competition in Japan. So for the purposes of Glory Hunter, we'll be going after the J-League and the All Japan Cup. I also didn't realize this as we were doing the interviews and trying to figure out what team we were going to go for, but I didn't know that Hiroshima at one point was in the AFC Champions League Two. It is a real shame that they got knocked out in the quarterfinal because that could have been a huge opportunity for us to knock out the AFC Champions League Two. But just looking through their schedule, you can see why we were hired, because they have not had a good season. In particular, this run in April, 4 losses in a row. I assume somewhere around here is where their manager got fired, and we are now moving into the rest of the season. So we are currently in May. The season runs through December, so we are just before the halfway point of the J-League season, and we are currently sitting in 16th place, just 2 points above the relegation zone. That is interesting because season preview-wise, Hiroshima were expected to finish in 6th place, and for us to be sitting down in 16th place suggests there's a lot of improvement we can do. Financially, we are in a rough spot. We are negative. We have a negative transfer budget, which isn't too bad. Like, it's not a huge negative transfer budget, but it does mean that we need to sell before we can buy. We are also significantly over the payroll. It looks like we're 30 to 40,000 pounds over the payroll, which is going to be multiple players. And we are negative 2.7 million pounds in debt. And I will say, looking at the squad, we don't have a bad squad, but it's definitely a squad which needs improvement. And I'm just saying, but looking at the salary cost here, the fact that we're 30 to 40,000 pounds over the salary is a little bit worrying, given that that's 3 to 4 players. But we do have players with some ability, and actually there are some recognizable names in this squad. When Gianni Stensness here was at Daejeon, we sold him to Hiroshima, and we are reunited with him once again. He was only at Daejeon for 1 season, but he is apparently an important player at Hiroshima. And then another player we had at Daejeon, João Pedro, is also at Hiroshima. And he is one of the advanced forwards that we had, and he was very good at Daejeon. We were really able to take advantage of those physical attributes. But he's 32 now. Yeah, 24 goals, 29 goals, and then 2 goals in 5 matches. But this season in 7 matches, he has 0 goals. So we are going to be in with a fight to turn that around. But sorting by ability, it looks like most of the best players on this squad are Japanese. So we have Arata Mitsui here, who is a really solid right back. The next best player, Riku Sugimoto, is also a right back. So for whatever reason, the best players are all right backs. Akihiro Noda is a very good defender. Actually, he's a really good defender. We can build a defense around him. He is very solid. Now, it looks like the best player up top is Hirota Yamami, who, looking at him, he actually doesn't really look like a forward to me. Not great composure. Off the ball is okay. Not great physical attributes. 1 jumping reach. I mean, he looks like a really solid attacking mid, but we might need him to play it forward because as I'm looking through the rest of the team here, we don't have many forwards. It's him, João Pedro, and this guy, Ezekiel, and this guy is not good. 9 pace, 5. I mean, he's not going to score. I mean, does he? Yeah, you can see here. He's been here for a while, and he doesn't score goals. I mean, and he's taking up a foreign player slot. Like, he's just not very good. I'm actually curious here. So foreign players, match squad must have no more than 5 foreign players. So it looks like we can register as many foreign players as we want, but only 5 foreign players can be in the match day squad. So again, this is just showing we need to bring in great foreign players, like players who really improve the squad. And right now, I mean, looking at the foreign players, none of them are particularly brilliant. Stensis here's okay, João Pedro's okay, but Ezekiel's pretty good, or pretty bad. And this guy, Van Lerberge, I mean, his pace is 9, and he's joining a different club. And our foreign players just aren't very good. We have this guy, Anjiman from Korea. Again, he's just okay, but he doesn't strike me as a particularly great player. And then we have Salam Kanute here, he's 19 years old, maybe he's got potential, but we need players who are going to be really good right now. And none of the foreign players are really striking me as players who will contribute to the squad long term. So given that we're not doing well financially, I don't know how we're going to rebuild this squad yet. But in the meantime, I mean, we're not in a transfer window. So first order of business is going to be filling out our staff here. We definitely need to fill out the staff. And what I've decided to do here is if we go to tactics, I think this is what we're going to be rolling with. So the best players in our squad seem to be central mids here. So Watai here, I mean, pretty good. I mean, he's pretty solid all around. We've got Nakai here, who again, very solid all-around player, like his dribbling, first touch passing technique, all looks really good. And then we have Hayakawa here, who's a young player, but again, he looks pretty solid. So given the amount of center mids who I have here, I think this is what we're going for. And I want to go 2 up top because I don't trust either Pedro or Yamami to be able to lead the line on our own. So we're going with kind of an asymmetrical 4-4-2/4-3-2-1. And we'll see how this does for the rest of the season. But in the meantime, I'm going to quickly fill out the staff and I'll go a few weeks into the future just to see how we do to start off. And then I'll go to the end of the season. And we are 2 matches forward now. And we have filled out our staff and we have played 2 matches. And we haven't done too bad in our first 2 matches. So I think our tactic is doing all right here, but we tied the first match 2-2 against Kyoto, who are solid mid-table. Looking at the results from this match, I think this is a good result because we dominated the match. I mean, 2.5 XG, 20 shots. We were by far the better team. João Pedro getting an assist. I really need these 2 guys to start scoring, though. But a 2-2 draw that I feel like we should have gotten more from, but I was happy with how we played. Subsequently, we had a 2-1 victory over FC Tokyo. João Pedro actually scoring here, so I'm really hoping he's a player we're going to be able to rely on throughout the season. That win and draw does move us up to 14th, which is a nice little boost. We're now 4 points away from the relegation zone. The club vision here is just to finish mid-table in the J League, so as long as we can finish mid-table, we're going to be all right. And for reference, the All Japan Cup, which is the one we're going for again, starts in the middle of June. We're going to be going up against Shonan, who are an upper half team in the J League. So that could be a tough game, but again, we kind of have a free hit here. I mean, we have the rest of the season as essentially a free hit. We're just going to test out the tactic, build out the squad. We've also filled out the staff here. So everything is all set for the rest of the season. But all right, this is how things have started. I mean, at this point, there's not really a whole lot we can do here until we can start to actually rebuild the side. But the staff are set up, training set up, tactic is set up. We'll see how we do for the rest of the season. I will catch you all at the end of the season. We are through to the end of season 6, where we ended up finishing smack dab middle of the table, 10th out of 20th. We essentially did exactly what the board asked us to do, but 16 wins, 6 draws, 16 losses. We did have a positive goal differential, 54 points. So overall, not a bad way to end the season. The board is very mid on how we did, just a C rating. So I guess we can't complain at this point. That being said, it wasn't a great season. We did lose to Shonan in the All Japan Cup second round, so we did not get very far. That being said, shout out to Santi Rublico, who is a Filipino, who is the one who scored against us, so I guess I can't be super mad about that. We had a bit of a tough middle of the season, but we started to win games as we moved into the second half of the season, and as the team got more familiar with the tactic and everything. So that does give me a lot of confidence going into next season that we can do well, given that we ended the season on quite a high. Being real with you guys, the biggest issue in the squad is a lack of goals at the moment. So as you guys can see, Ezekiel was our top scorer. He ended up getting 11 goals this season. And the thing about him is that João Pedro did not score many goals, and Yamami did not score many goals. And that, for me, is a big worry, and that shows we really need to sign forwards and players who are going to score goals as we move into next season. Because as you guys can see here, just not a lot of goals in the side. The other issue we have in the side, honestly, is that all of our best players are wanted. So as you guys can see here, because of the position we're in compared to the position we were supposed to be, just everyone in our squad is wanted, which is an issue if we end up selling our best players. I've also decided to release a bunch of players here. So actually players like João Pedro, their contracts are expiring at the end of the year. Ezekiel here, all of these guys are going. So from here up, all of these players are being released. That's going to open up a lot of salary for us. We are in significant debt at the moment, which means I'm going to have to sell players. But the board still has given us £3.3 million to work with. And we're pretty much at the payroll budget. We have a little bit to work with. We have about £8,000 to work with. So we at least have some room as far as the transfer and wage budget is concerned. And honestly, this is a Glory Hunter challenge. We're looking for success. We're not built. It's really weird doing a challenge like this, to be honest, because the way you think about transfers and finances at a club is completely different compared to how you would do it normally. And I just have to keep remembering that. Like, ultimately, our goal at this club is to win the league and win the cup and do whatever we need to do to get there. So with that in mind, this is what we have to work with. We are overhauling the squad massively. And I'm going to play through the transfer window here. We're going to make some signings. And I will see you all at the conclusion of our transfer business. We are now at the beginning of Season 7. And as you guys can see here, we've spent a lot of money. I'm going to be real with you guys. This £32.5 million we haven't spent this up front. A lot of this is guaranteed money over a few years so that we could sign more players and not totally destroy the club. But we needed to spend a lot of money, and we overhauled the squad massively, which also means we also overhauled the squad with a lot of player sales. Some of the big players we had last year, you guys might remember Hiroto Yamami, the player who I wasn't sure if he was really a forward or not. We got good money for him. £3.2 million we sold him to Beijing in China. We also sold some kind of random youngsters. Yusuke Asami here, we sold him for $1.1 million. We also sold players for $350,000, $325,000, $275,000, so on and so forth. So we were able to bring in £7 million, which did a lot for us as far as being able to sign players. Now, as you guys can see here, we've signed a lot of players. Our first up, youngster Go Takuda, who is an excellent, we only play with one player on the left-hand side. He can fit in that left-hand side really well. Professional personality, but most importantly, 15 pace and pretty good dribbling. For this league, that's really good. We've signed him from Vissel Kobe. I think this is a great signing because, again, we're taking a player off of a Japanese side. We needed forwards, so we've brought in Shio Fukuda here. Again, kind of just a well-rounded player, but I think much better physically than Yamami. I like the holy trinity he has here, and naturally he plays at forward as well. In the past few seasons, he has shown that he can score double-digit goals in the league. So especially in a two-person front line, I'm hoping he'll do well. Of course, we are playing with 3 central midfielders, so that was a position I looked really hard to improve. We've brought in Tanaka here, the 21-year-old Japanese player who is only going to get better. I mean, he is an excellent advanced playmaker / central midfielder on attack. Pretty good passing, good first touch, good physical attributes as well. Another player we've taken from another club in Japan, so I'm really hoping that helps us out. Adding to our central midfielders, we've brought in Eduard Benitez here, who is, 17 passing, 17 technique, really good work rate, okay physicals, not particularly pacey, but good stamina as well. He's 20 years old. He's got a professional personality. He's a player who's going to keep on improving. We actually signed him from a club in Colombia, and I think he's going to be a star player for us. Looking at some free transfers, we brought in Damian Garcia here. Again, we're looking to improve that central midfield position. I think he's a player who can be the more defensive-minded player in our 3 midfielders. And again, good tackling, good marking, pretty good heading, okay physicals, just a very well-rounded, solid player who I think adds solidity to our midfield. Again, we've signed a lot of players here, so I'm kind of just going over the big ones. We also signed a lot of depth options, but we brought in Dali Damahu. I think he's just like a really good pacey fullback. 16 pace. As far as meta attributes are concerned, he's got them. So hopefully he'll be a solid player for us. And then the last 2 really big players who I think are going to help us out here. We've got Leonardo Rodriguez here. He's coming in on loan. And he's going to play in that inside forward role on the left. We only have a winger on the left. And I think he's going to get some goals for us. 16 dribbling, 16 finishing, 15 first touch. Really solid all-around attributes. And that 13 jumping reach and 15 heading, I think, could be good. Because if we play him off the left-hand side, we'll have 3 forwards, which means if he's kind of coming in and we have a fullback on attack on the right, putting in crosses, I think that could end up being really good for us because he could be on the back post up against a fullback, with fullbacks usually not having such high jumping reach. So we could have a little mismatch on the end there, and he could end up scoring quite a few goals for us. We brought him in from Independiente on loan. I think he adds a lot of quality to the side. But our final big and main signing here is 20-year-old Colombian Abel Carrillo. Very solid forward player. At just 20 years old, he is still going to improve, but we needed a player with good finishing. I think he has that in spades. He's shown previously he can score in Colombia, so hopefully he'll be able to bring that good form over to Japan. So at this point in time, this is probably our best 11. So things we're going to be relying on here, we got Leonardo Rodriguez as a winger attack here, and we have Sugimoto, who is a very solid fullback, I think, and he's a fullback that's pretty all right going forward, like good dribbling, for this level, okay crossing, but most importantly, I think, stamina and pace here. So he's going to be bombing up the right-hand side as a fullback on attack. We have 3 very good central midfielders here, and then we have Carrillo and Fukuda up top. So those are the players we're going to be looking at, and this is the style of play. So, same style as last season. We're continuing with kind of the asymmetric offset 4-4-2 type formation. There's going to be big responsibilities for the 3 in the midfield here, but I think we've improved that very nicely. Big responsibilities for Sugimoto as the fullback on attack and our main source of width, and our 2 forwards up top to actually get us some goals. Looking at the season preview, we have improved the squad. We are now predicted to finish 5th, but definitely much closer to being in those top 4 positions. And as far as what we're looking for this season, if we could get into the top 4 and particularly finish 4th, the 4th place position gets into the AFC Champions League Two. So if we're not close to winning the title, which I don't think we're quite there yet, but if we could sneak into the 4th place position here, I would be really, really happy with that because it would give us a shot at the AFC Champions League 2. And then, of course, if we could make a run at the All Japan Cup, that would be ideal. Because again, the J League and the All Japan Cup, that is what we're going for this season. But all right, I'm going to move through here to the end of the season. We are right at the beginning of the J League season in February. The J League season runs February through December. So I will see you all at the beginning of December. And I am through to the conclusion of Season 7, where we have had a phenomenal season, finishing in second place. We were by far the top goal scorer. I mean, we had an amazing attacking record, by far the best team. We struggled defensively, though. 64 goals allowed defensively. We very much struggled defensively. But as you guys can see here, we had 70 points, and it was real tight from second to 8th place. 8th place had 65 points. And really the difference was we ended well, and as you guys can see, kind of all the teams from 5th through 8th place had a really poor end to the season. As you guys can see here from the past positions, I mean, essentially, we jumped around from 8th place all the way up to 2nd, but it was a better end to the season. We were kind of between 4th and 5th. I mean, 4th would have been nice to finish there, but we had a nice jump towards the end of the season, getting all the way up to 2nd, which was phenomenal. We had much better goal scoring totals throughout the season and more goal scoring totals that I was really happy with. Our best player, absolutely, Abel Carrillo. 21 goals is something that we're delighted with in the league. 29 goals overall. Satoshi Amano came through really well for us. I wasn't expecting Amano to do so well. We signed him this season, but 19 goals in the league. He was really, really good. And as I mentioned to you all previously, Leonardo Rodriguez being a very important player. 22 goals and 13 assists overall. He was brilliant throughout the season. 12 goals in the league, 10 assists in the league, 7.5 average rating. He was absolutely phenomenal. And then again, some of our central midfielders doing really well here. Tanaka doing well. Fukuda had a pretty good end to the season. Damian Garcia getting a few goals. Edouard Benitez doing well. And the big thing is here, our fullback on attack, Riku Sugimoto, he had the most assists of anyone this season. 16 assists overall. He was arguably one of our best players this season. 10 assists in the league. So overall, I'm really, really happy with how our squad did. But the big thing here I haven't shared with you all yet, and the reason we're back at this point in time at the end of the season, is we have made the All Japan Cup final. This is the competition we're going for, and we are going up against Cerezo Osaka, who are currently 10th in the league. So we are going up against a mid-table side who we arguably did better than. This might be a match we can actually win. And overall, we had a really good season. Finishing second, we made the semifinal of the Japanese League Cup actually, which was really good. But to go into the All Japan Cup final, we could knock off a trophy in Japan in our first full season at Hiroshima. And the All Japan Cup final is the curtain closer on January 1st. So it's about a month from now. I've scheduled a couple of friendlies just to keep us going beforehand. But I think we can kind of football manager this All Japan Cup final because, I mean, if we look at Osaka's schedule here, they effectively won't have played for a month. I mean, they do have the AFC Champions League 2 here, but they'll have only played one match. So I feel like we'll be a little bit more match fit. We'll be able to hopefully improve our schedule here, play a little bit sooner than them. And I feel confident that we might actually be able to win this match. I'll also add, we had a really good run in the All Japan Cup. We were pretty dominant in our first few matches. We did really well in the quarterfinals as well, but it was the semifinals where there was some serious drama. It went all the way to a penalty shootout. It was at home, fortunately, and we were down 1-0, tied it back up. We were losing in extra time, tied it back up again, and then we managed to win in the penalty shootout. So hopefully we can carry some of that good luck over to the All Japan Cup final. But I'm going to move forward to this match. I'm going to play this match for you all to see. And hopefully we'll have added a new trophy to the trophy cabinet in about a month's time. And as the All Japan Cup got underway, we were looking to make a fast start to the match and put our foot down. We had an attacking formation, and as Tanaka moved down the left-hand side, he found the pass, and they had a bad tackle leading to a penalty kick. After a quick VAR check, the penalty was confirmed. We had a golden opportunity to take the lead early in the All Japan Cup final. And as Benitez stepped up, he found the back of the net, and we had a 1-0 lead. We had absolutely dominated the first half, and we were looking to add on to the pressure to extend our lead. As the ball went into the middle, a great shot narrowly hit the bar. We continued to dominate the game into the second half, and our pressing was absolutely brilliant, suffocating the opposition so that they could never play out of the back. We were winning every ball, we were having all kinds of possession, and as we looked to get runners in behind, we eventually found Edouard Benitez, who extended our lead to 2-0. We were in absolute control of the All Japan Cup final. As the match ticked down and we still had our 2-0 lead, I decided to make a bunch of substitutions to help us close out this game, and I felt confident that we were in fact going to win. Mere seconds after those substitutions, there was a goal off of a corner, and suddenly Osaka made it 2-1, leading to a nervy ending. And we moved into injury time. One last chance for Osaka to make it 2-2 and to extend the game into extra time. Our defending seemed good, but a weak shot came in. They put it in the bottom corner, and we were headed to extra time. I genuinely couldn't believe what I was seeing. We had a 2-0 lead and were so comfortable, but had allowed that late goal. As we moved into the second half of extra time, we continued to press and try to get something going, but we couldn't apply the finishing touches. The extra time continued to wind down, and the All Japan Cup final would be decided on penalties. Osaka stepped up first, and a brilliant finish into the top corner found the back of the net. Next, we were up, and we scored, tying it up at 1-1. The next two penalties were clinical, and as we went into the third round, we were tied 2-2, where Osaka stepped up and missed wide left. We had a chance to take the lead if we could score on the third penalty and put us in a great position to win, and we scored. We then moved into the fourth round of penalties, where another Osaka miss put us one goal away from winning the All Japan Cup final. And up stepped Ohata to give us the victory. In our first full season in charge, we had a trophy lift in the All Japan Cup final. Well, at the end of season 7, we've done it. We are the All Japan Cup winners. We kind of did everything we could to not win that, but we have gotten through on pens. We have carried that good luck through, and we can cross off a trophy in the trophy cabinet. I will say, a very solid season. I mean, second in the J League, winning one of the domestic trophies we needed to win, and then going into next season, we've got a little bit in the transfer budget now, £2.9 million. I have made some deals because it seems like we're actually in the off season at this point, but we've got some payroll to work with. We've got about £3 million to work with, and we're definitely going to make some sales here. I've already started. You guys can see the transfer here. I'll save that for next episode, but I've already started to wheel and deal in the transfer market. I'm really excited to see what players we can bring in. I have a few players in mind who we're going to sell, but that will all be for the next episode. Let's add some trophies to our trophy cabinet to end season 7, and I will see you all moving into season 8. In our first full season in Japan, we can add the All Japan Cup to our trophy cabinet. But the real question will be, can we look towards winning the league in season 8?